Yes. Audible?
Namaste, sir.
Namaste.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ma'am is and Vaishali is yet to join. Yes. Sure.
We'll just check.
Yeah. Vaishali is unable to join actually. Namaste, ma'am.
Namaste. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Vishali didn't join. Yet to join.
She's having some network issue, ma'am.
Oh.
She's unable to join it.
Oh, I see. So I think we will wait for some time and then start. Is she trying to join or is it not possible to be joined?
Ma'am, she is trying to join, ma'am.
Yeah,
Just
fine.
hi, Vaishali.
Hello. Namaste, sir.
Namaste.
Namaste, ma'am.
Namaste.
Namaste. Hello to everyone. So this is episode 7, How to Learn to Understand Ayurveda. Myself, Sangeeta Singh from Bhopal and Roshali from Gujarat. We both welcome Dr. Rajkumar sir and Dr. Ramya Krishnan ma'am as our guest speaker. Dr. Rajkumar sir, HOD and Associate Professor of Roganidhana and Vikruti Vigyana Department, Government of Puducherry, Mahi, and Dr. Ramya Krishnan ma'am, Associate Professor and HOD of Dravyaguna Department, Government of Puducherry, Mahi, will be the guest speaker of today's episode. In order to proceed episode 7, I would like to brief the episode 6, which was Swasthavrita exclusive. So in last episodes of Swasthavrita, we have covered so many points like what is the need of Swasthavrita subject, is it there or not. So in order to that, many points and question has been covered. Sequentially, I will tell what was all the questions and the answer in very briefly. I will just conclude. There was one myth on the shloka of Ekam Shastram Adhigyano Na Vidyat Shastra Nishchaya Tasmat Bahushruta Shastram Vijaniyad Chikitsaka. For that, sir has explained, we have to be confident in our science only to become perfect in our science. And for that, we have to learn from one who has profound knowledge, Brahushruta, from expert guru in order to become confident in our science only. It's not like we have to study every science and do not get clarity and objectivity of our science itself. So that what has been explained by Sir. And the next question of yoga and Ayurveda, which is an inseparable sister, which is a very prevailing myth in society. For that, ma'am and sir told that it is completely wrong belief which is prevailing in today's scenario. Yoga term which is mentioned in Ayurveda is entirely different than the yoga shastra. Yoga is chitra vritti nirodha, complete deactivation as per our science. There is no yogic activity to attend in that side. What we need to know is continuous practice of Jitendriya is told in many places. For that we can adopt any method. How we can going to apply is based on our knowledge level. It is not based on yoga activities. How we practice is depend on us. This is what is explained in Ayurveda. And yoga objective is yogastu moksha pravartaka. For attaining moksha, your mind and atma become one, and you are reaching a state in which you do not have purna janam. It is done by Chittavritti Nirodha Moksha Pravartaka. And objective of Ayurveda is not that. Ayurveda objective is Arogya, health. So both are different. One more shloka. For that clarity is given by Sir. Anunayat Pratipadam Sarva Dharmeshu Madhyamam. Acharya didn't tell you to become diplomatic, to become healthy, or to get peace of mind. What they meant was in all your activities, sarva dharmeshu, in all dharma, you should be madhyama. Madhyama means without rag and dvesh, without attachment and detachment. You should be unbiased, honest in your all activities. About Ritucharya and Dincharya, which has to be practiced for everybody, which is prevailing in today's scenario. For that, ma'am and sir told that Dincharya and Ritucharya has to be practiced by healthy people only. And for that, if that Nirdesha has been given for healthy people only. If we are dealing with diseased patient, we must know the everything about that patient, everything to identify the nature of disease, vikar prakriti, cause mechanism, present status of disease, etc. And it should be modified according to their unique circumstances. And further briefing will be done by Roshali. Over to you, Roshali.
Thank you, Dr. Sangeeta. Thank you, Dr. Sangeeta. In previous session, we saw that Ayurveda science works on cause-effect relationship for different individuals suffering with different diseases. But in case of modern science, there is no concept of cause-effect relationship. They completely rely upon epidemiological study, considering a disease either as a pandemic or as epidemic. And the only way to prevent is by preventive medications and by vaccines. In Ayurveda, mode of action of every disease should be known. BAMS is meant to learn Ayurveda and PG is for Sukshma knowledge and practice. So instead of doing blind mimicry of modern science, Ayurveda is independent and independent medical science. For Swasthfrut, ma'am and sir told that there is no need of Swasthfrut as alone subject, but considering it in physiology and basic science itself, and some moral basics to be concluded in Sanskrit. Toxicology and side effects of medicine has to be incorporated in Agat Tantra, and also infective conditions and fevers and acute conditions has to be taught in Rog Nidan itself. And that's how segregation of Swasthfrut subject is to be done. And this is the way how upgradation of curriculum should be done. In previous session, I saw and have collected some of the queries. My first question is, how do we know that Ayurvedic medicine works? Because it often has benefits, but more than benefits, there are risks which leads to emergence of undesirable effects.
Roshali, as you asked, about that question. In modern, benefits are always associated with risk, but it is not the scenario in Ayurveda. In Ayurveda, Acharya told that medicine work by stating rase asu tulya falastatra dravyam shubha ashubham kinchit rasen kurute karma pakena cha param gun antarena virena prabhavena eva kinchinah. So Ayurveda medicine work either by ras, gun, virya, vipak, and prabhava. So this has to be considered according to state and stage of the patient for desirable effect, shubh phal. And if chosen wrongly, it give undesirable effect, ashubh phal. Hello.
Seems she has some connection issues.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
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 Sorry for the disturbance.
That's okay.
My next question is how we can say that if it is medicine or treatment itself that produced any effect. It could be the natural effect of body. So we need clinical trials, right?
Of what?
Of active principles medicine creating effects. Ayurveda treats by
Your voice is breaking.
hello.
Yeah.
I'm audible now.
Yeah.
I should repeat the question.
Yes.
Okay.
Of
How
what?
we can say that if yes,
Yeah. Yeah. Of what?
yeah, of active principles of medicine creating effects. If Ayurveda treatment works by active principles, are we choosing them based on that?
No, actually, we are not choosing with active principle. As Acharya Charak told, rasam dravyani doshanscha vikaranscha prabhavatah vedyo desha kalo cha shariram cha sah no dusha. Those practitioners who consider ras, dravya, dosh, vikar, desh, kal, prabhava are only scientific practitioners. But yes, we need to update.
Okay. So we need to learn to choose medicals based on active principles or rasa panchak.
If we, when we are taking active principle is taken out from a dravya, it is becoming another dravya, no? Like as Acharya Charak told, the mode of action of a dravya, and by explaining the mode of action of dravya, Acharya Charaka is stating that yat kurvanti tat karm yen kurvanti tad viryam yat kurvanti tad adhikarnam yada kurvanti sah kalah yatha kurvanti sah upaya yat sadhayanti tat phalam. So what he is trying to say that karma action initiated in the body by the interaction of between virya and adhikarna, and adhikarna is the site of action of virya, site of pathology, and kala is the avastha, cause, state and stage of the patient and of disease suited or not suited to that virya, and upaya is the yukti, shastra sahit tarkaha behind the choice of particular virya and its mode of implementation. And finally, phala is host response to that virya. So that's how a medicine work with Raspanchaka Siddhanta. It is very much clear that how Dravya is working. A Dravya will on the basis of Raspanchaka Siddhanta, and with what is the mode of action is has been clear cutly explained by Acharya Charaka and not with active principle.
True.
So like as Acharya Charaka is telling that samyak prayogam sarvesham siddhi आख्यति कर्माणाम सिद्धिराख्यति सर्वेषां गुणे युक्तम भिषक्तम. So when we know the when we understand that medicine treatment work, how we understand कि कोई भी medicine काम कर रही है, when we see the result, when we know the exact treatment principle for that disease, then only we can give that intended result in intended time, right? And we can also show कि what is the intended we can also explain the aggravating factor and alleviating factor of disease also on the same day in that patient. So with all, if we have the clarity of treatment principle, diagnosis, everything of our siddhant, then we can clear cutly we can explain everything to the patient, and that's how our medicine is working. We can clearly tell that or explain to anybody. So that's how that samyak prayog we can do. So it's Ayurveda is jnana purva karma. So whatever it is there, we have to apply and we can show to the patient.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Sangeeta. So we understand that Ayurveda says that a proper Bishak, the scientific practitioner, is the one who does the proper application of yukti when required.
Yes. So with that, we will start our today's session of Tantra. So my first question, sir, is in Agar Tantra, we learn about types of snakes, spiders, scorpion, wasps, etc. in details, and their poisonous effect on body and its various avastha also, which is mentioned in Samhita. But what is the practical utility of all this? Also, anti-venom have been emerged. So, do we really need everything which is mentioned in Samhita to apply and do?
We learning Shastra, Shastrartha is the most important thing. When we are learning a Shastra, Shastra is with explaining with Karya Karana Siddhanta. So, how an Agantu Visha, which is not developing inside the body, which is developing or which is from snake bite or other poisonous animals. So, how it is producing its effects. That's what is dealt in Agata Tantra. So, this is natural way how we are approaching. In Ayurvedic science, everything is based on Swabhava. Swabhava Samsiddha Lakshanas, how naturally a poison will be acting in the body, and what all are the stages that are developing, and how to reverse or how to take the remedial measures in each and every step. That is what is explained in respective chapters of Agata Tantra. For that, the faculty or the teacher should be having a thorough knowledge of practical experience. He should be having that practical knowledge how in a natural way. In modern science, they are giving anti-snake venom. So, anti-venom is antibodies. They are directly introducing. That is passive immunity. It's not natural innate immunity or adaptive immunity that's producing immunoglobulins. So, body is deciding how to neutralize this poison. That is the natural way. So, in natural way, if it takes some more time also, antibodies will be very specific and it will be completely neutralizing the poison. There won't be any effects left. There won't be any side effects. What in modern science, when antibodies are given, there will be side effects. Plus, it can cause allergy. It can cause sudden death also, anaphylactic shock also. So, when second time when it's administered, it can cause sudden death also. So, such problems will not be there, and this is the most ideal way of correcting or taking remedial measures for poisons, various poisons. But in the present scenario, nobody has learned it properly. Nobody has understood its Shastrartha. So, its practical applications are not taught. Anyway, Ayurvedic science, you cannot compare with anti-snake venom because Ayurvedic science is based on Swabhava and the remedial measures are how by certain principles, how we can modify the internal environment, and this poison can be neutralized either by antibodies or by body's OJs. How it can be normalized, how it can be rectified. That is the natural method which Ayurveda advocates. So, natural method, practical aspects, that has to be learned by an Agada Tantra teacher, and it has to be shown practically. Then only this Agada learning will be fruitful, or it will be without practicals. You are learning all these Shastra or all these slokas. It's of no use. My opinion is Agada Tantra teachers should be well equipped. They should have good practical knowledge. Not only Shastra, they should have Shastra Artha Jnana and practical knowledge. Karma Parijaya also they should be having. Then only that teaching becomes fruitful, and it will be comprehensive to the students.
Ma'am, anything we want to like?
Agada Tantra, as unlike the other disciplines of Ayurveda, it is a highly specialized, I would say, highly specialized and unique branch of Ayurveda, where emergency medical system is the proficiency of emergency medicine is required. Agada, we cannot do trial and error. We must have highly specific and specialized guidelines, which are all diseases, anurgi pradhamam bhutva rogam paschat vivardhate sajada moolam ushnadi balam ayushya hanyate. That is there, but still, sarpavisha, aganduvisha, most poisonous thing what we deal with today's life is definitely what doctors are dealing with is snake poison only more than other things. So this snake poison coming to Sarpavisha itself, there is such a lot vast knowledge incorporated in the science of Ayurveda regarding all aspects of Sarpas, how to understand which Visha, whether it is poisonous snake or unpoisonous snakes, Visha Vega Lakshanas, you might be studying everything theoretically. And what I understand is that in some few decades before, there were professional Vaidyas, Visha Vaidyas, who are qualified in Ayurveda, as well as that in olden times it was Ayurveda Vaidyan. That my uncle was M.S. Vaidya. I know directly he was alive during my period also. When I was 26 years, he passed away. So he was in practice in that roaring period of practice. I know my father had told, he's a qualified Vaidya, not a traditional Vaidya. He's qualified in Ayurveda. He was practicing in Sarpavisha. My father was a direct witness of patients who were unconscious, who were brought to him. He was giving Anjana, Nasya, making them conscious. He was able to estimate the prognostic standards of based on the science in the patient. He was able to say whether he will be able to resuscitate the patient or whether any chance of getting back to life. And he was even knowing Duta Lakshanas, and he was practicing that. Like one Onam vacation, when my father was there, he was telling everybody was playing there in the festival time. That time he told everybody, go away, now one body will be brought here dead. Within 10 to 15 minutes, we know that time there was no mobile, no phone, nothing. But within 20 to 30 minutes or some time limit, within that limit, a person was brought dead. So such kind of lakshanas, and my father is a direct witness of him resuscitating, saving many lives. So unfortunately, we were not able to be a part of his career. We were not. He was having highly specialized books on Agadanandra like Visha Jolsnika and other books, which he was not only a theoretician, he used to practice in his life. So this is what an Agadanandra expert is intended to do. People should be confident enough to bring the patients to him, to that Agadanandra expert. Patients in the sense those who have had snake bite or whatever it is. Most fatal, I am recalling snake again and again. Every poison is a poison. But the thing is that nowadays, during my internship also, I did my internship in 1999. That period also in RVDA in Thrissur, I have seen doctors practicing in snake poison also, and people were confident enough to get the patient admitted there and treated by that Vaidya. I don't remember sir's name, but there was one doctor during our period, one senior medical officer. But as the time passes by, now what we find is that we don't find any cases. I don't think any students of present time do not find, I mean BAMS students, any case of snake poison getting handled by an Ayurveda expert. So this is very unfortunate. This is a failure of our medical educational system only. If there were experts, qualified experts in Agadadandra who could handle all these poisons a few decades before, why it is not there today? It is a very serious question which is to be addressed. An ordinary physician of Ayurveda, ordinary in the sense, scientific practitioner of Ayurveda, cannot practice Agadadandra unless and until he get proficiency, high level skills and knowledge in the practice of Agadadandra. So it is, the speciality has immense importance, but still people are not there, experts are not there. Even other poisons are not able to be managed by doctors. Agatadandra means so many other kinds of different kinds of poisons are there, as you are studying Agu Visha, Bhuta Visha. All these can happen to anyone, and they can approach a general practitioner also. So such cases are to be expertised by all the qualified practitioners of Ayurveda, not only Agadadandra experts. So they deserve to get practical knowledge on these. And Garavisha, of course, many kinds of Garavisha. Nowadays, vaccine-induced poisoning, many different types of autoimmune diseases, allergies, all that Shandya, Visarko, the Godaranam, Vispodaga Unmada, Bhagandaranam, all these different kinds of diseases are happening today. But there is no proficiency for doctors to specifically handle such Agandavisha as well as Nija. So Garavisha also is not treated today by Agadandra experts. I understand that in Kerala some skin diseases are treated by Agadandra experts. I don't understand what is the relation between skin disease and Agadandra. Particularly there is no, because Visham hi deham samprapya pradushedi shonidam. So Rekta Dushtija features can be shown in Agandavisha and Nijavisha. Apart from that, we can understand that skin disease doesn't mean Rekta Dushti always. As being a SPBA learner and a student, you must be knowing that. So it is not like skin disease means Agadandra. It is very much wrong. So such kind of wrong kind of practices, and what I understand is outside Kerala, even Agadandra doesn't have OPD, teaching OPD. In Kerala also many places. It is very pathetic. First of all, the faculty should get sufficient knowledge and expertise to handle all the cases of vishas. I don't know how it is possible, but there should be a symposium to address this issue. And it should be, the experts are to be equipped with adequate knowledge and skills of Ayurveda, not modern medicine, to handle such cases by understanding the prognostic standards properly.
Sangeeta, in the last session, you were telling that Estu Kevala Shastrajnaha Karmasu Apinishtitaha. Kevala Shastra, if you are knowing also, and Karmasu Apinishtitaha. Sa Mukhya Tyaduram Prapya. When they see the patient, they will be Dhiririva Ahavam. So, just as those who are not expert in fighting, they will be running away from war. The same manner, you have to run away because you don't have practical knowledge. Karmasu Abhinishtitaha. Kevala Shastrajna is not worthy in clinical practice. Or when you are a physician, you are addressing patients. When patients can come with any sort of disease or Agata Visha. So if you are specifically in the case of Agada, you have to be very much confident and expert, and you need to be taking decisions very fast. So you need to have so much experience also. For that, learned faculties are to emerge.
Yes,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. My next question follows with a shloka mentioned in Charak Samhita Sutrasthan. औषधं यन्ति विज्ञातं नामरूपगुणे स्त्रिभिः विज्ञातं च अपि दुर्युक्तम् अनर्थयोपपद्यते. As it is mentioned, Yukti Jnana is superior to Dravya Jnana, but we have been taught all theoretical part of Visha, Upvish, Sthavar Vish, Jangam Vish, and no practical utility. In practicals also we are supposed to make herbarium and go to museums and courts. We also learn about snakes and certain weapons. But what is clinical utility of this?
Actually, anything which is learned in theory, first of all, we have to consider both the aspects, theoretical aspects and clinical aspects of a discipline, because ultimately the AMS course is to be designed in such a way that it is to emerge doctors, quality doctors. That is the ultimate objective. So for that, any theoretical part is also to be designed in such a way where quality doctors will emerge. So regarding the names of snakes, whatever you said in museum, what all specimens you are studying, I think most of these things you might be studying in your schools. Am I correct or not? In schools, higher secondary,
Yes, ma'am.
Rishali,
Yes,
am I?
ma'am.
Most
Yes,
of the things you,
ma'am.
yeah. So most of the things you might be having a general knowledge. This is all a part of general knowledge only. All these things, all these aspects, whatever you are telling. What is most important is what is useful for clinical practice. What is necessary for clinical practice? What are the subjects you have covered now other than this types of snakes? Can you repeat it?
Types of snakes and certain weapons were kept during practicals.
Okay, weapons.
Yeah.
Okay. You will be learning about the weapons, like which all weapons you,
Yes.
which all weapons you are learning.
Acts and many other things with which murders and suicidal attempts were taken. Homicidal, all these things were kept. We were
Okay,
taught
so
only these things.
okay, so what will be the question based on these things? If you are asked question in practical, what will be the nature of question you are getting? Identification only or anything more?
Nothing, ma'am.
Just
Only
Only identity.
identification.
okay. Okay.
Yes.
So it is a necessity that whether some weapon is kept and it is able to be identified by an ordinary school student or a regular college student also. You need not be in BAMS to study that. That is my point. So whatever
No,
is,
different types of Visha, Upavisha, they are kept and are to be identified.
yeah,
That's all.
Ju-
so
yes, just identified in Latin names.
sorry.
Latin names. We have to specify the Latin names.
Okay, okay. So Mahavisha and Upavisha, whatever you are seeing in, I mean, whatever you are learning in theory, it is good to see them in practical. There is nothing wrong in that. But more important is the practical aspects of all these things. If whatever you are seeing, more than that, there is nothing to learn practically in Mahavisha and Upavisha, right? We cannot administer Mahavisha and study its effects. We cannot administer Upavisha also. So it is just a portion confined to theory. That is what I am regarding Mahavisha and Upavisha. There is no need to include them in practical. Actually, Agadadandra practical is to be completely focused on clinical OPD. This is my point. Clinical OPD. It is to be regarding what all aspects of Visha, Nija, and Agandu you are directly encountering in the clinical practice. An Ayurvedic physician, as we are not getting Sarpavisha nowadays, but we are getting so many other kinds of insect bites. Nowadays, anaphylactic reaction, immune system anomalies like Ojo Vyabat. Ojo Vyabat is very common, altered immune system. So such things we are getting so much of clinical manifestations very regularly these days. So such cases are to be dealt in Agadadandra OPD and they are to be explored to students. Students have to be explained to the regarding the pathologies, whether it is Agandu Visha or Nija. Every poisonous thing comes Vilyuadi is to be Vilyuadi in Tulasi Swarasa. This is what is taught in OPD. Any Visha comes during our OPD, it was like that. Any sir, I suspect that this is an insect bite. Somebody comes, okay, you apply Vilyuadi with Tulasi Swarasa and Neeli Daladi Kashaya, or some Kashayas will be prescribed internally. This has become a mechanical routine in Agadanandra OPDs. I'm telling during my period, I don't know what is happening today also. I don't think much difference might have happened. But beyond that, students are to be educated regarding the pathologies of Vishaja Vyadis. What is happening in the patient, how it has happened, and what diagnostic principle is applied in that patient to reach a conclusive diagnosis. That is to be explained to the students. So students feel that whatever is learning in theory part of Agata Dandra is being applied in the clinicals. He is getting a what you call sensible knowledge about what he is learning, sensible practical knowledge about what he is learning in the theory. So such things, what happens, patient comes back after 3 days or 1 week, the students are able to follow up what is happening in the patient. Recovery happened or not. Upashaya, Anupashaya, whether any change is made. So this is what is to be taught in Agandra OPDs. Other than that, whatever you have mentioned, it is very mere waste of time, precious time, I will say, because students are very much, they require, they deserve to get quality knowledge. They need to spend their time with quality because it is a fundamental right of the citizen to deserve, to seek quality education. So I think I humbly request the policymakers to consider amendment of this kind of Agatatandra practical curriculum also for the sake of students and humanity.
Agatatandra is one of the Ashtangas. So you need to learn Hetu Linga Aushata Jnanam. You need to have Triskandha Jnanam. That you need to know how it is. Hetu is from Dravya, we can identify the Hetu, Nama Rupa Gunesh Tritihi. So with Gunas, how it will be acting, we will be knowing. But Lakshana is more important. That is what we are going to get in clinics. So clinically, what all Lakshanas are evident. That is more important to a physician. For a practitioner, Lakshanas, we have to know. In the present practical exam, only Nama and Rupa are important, not even Gunas. And clinical symptoms are more important. So we need to examine the patient and find out. This is a clinical subject, one of the Ashtangas. So it's a clinical subject. So we need to identify clinically what is the Visha, Stavara Visha, what all are the stages, what all are the stages in Agandu Visha, Jangama Visha. So we have to very specifically, we have to understand, then we have to get expertise, then only we can practice that in the patient. So Yukti is always there for Agandu Visha or Nija Visha. Whatever it is, Yukti is very important. For applying Yukti, we need to identify that status, that situation in clinically. So if we are not able to identify clinically and we are just seeing Vishas, Super Vishas, snakes, different snakes and other things, it's of no use. So conducting practicals like this is of no use, and teaching only theoretical part and with some modern things is again of no use. So students will be obviously confident in the modern aspects only because they will be going for anti-venom and they think that there is no treatment in Ayurvedic science. So that's natural. It's happening also, and that's because of this lacking of practical knowledge.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. My next question is, sir, there is one slok in Ayurveda that Ayu Kame Mainein Dharmartha Sukh Sadhanam Ayurvedo Updesheshu Videha Parmata. So what is the significance of forensic science in Ayurveda as it is related to Ayush, living beings?
That's what. In Agata Tantra, instead of learning, we could have taken many portions of emergency situations, how to handle instead of that, we are learning postmortem or forensic science, like how crime should be investigated. So all such things are not related to uh, life process. So after death, what to be done, how to investigate this crime, all these things are not at all there in Ayurvedic science, as well as it is unnecessary wastage of time, because we are not learning what is needed, and we are trying to learn post-mortem, we are trying to learn forensic medicine. All these are waste of time, and you are far deviated from Ayurvedic science. My opinion is Ayurveda, the objective of Ayurveda, which is Ayu Kameya Manena, or long, happy, healthy life. So, whole syllabus as well as learning should be focused on health itself, or Ayus, how to reverse disease and how to remain healthy and how to improve health. So, always it should be based on that. And there is no relevance of forensic medicine and post-mortem. So, there can be experts and let them do. Not everything should be done by Ayurveda doctors. Or when we are adopting the MBBS syllabus, we need not take all these things, incorporate all these things in BAMS syllabus. It's not fair. It's totally unfair.
Actually, the problem is that we are copying everything as from, I think what I understand is first MBBS syllabus is kept as the reference for structuring BAMS syllabus. That is what is happening. So whatever is the first, I think the experts are looking into MBBS syllabus, and toxicology is considered to be Agata Dandra. So toxicology and forensic medicine might be the translation for Agata Dandra. So if it is the translation, then definitely forensic medicine should be studied here. So that is not the point. Agata Dandra we should start from. We should not start from forensic medicine and toxicology. We should start from Agata Dandra. Or starting point is to be Agata Dandra, because anything in science is to be learned for clarity and objectivity. Two things are there. Clarity should be there. That is what expert means. Expert, who is an expert? Expert is the person who is having clarity and objectivity in what is learning. So clarity comes from yukti jnana and objectivity comes from artha jnana. Arthamidi prayojanam, yuktimidi ubayam. So what is the prayojana, or what is the utility of what we are learning? That is very important. Forensic medicine, there are good experts in forensic medicine. In after MBBS, I understand that there is a specialty called forensic medicine, where those doctors who are interested in practicing that, they can go for it. They can BAMS people cannot go for BAMS graduates cannot go for MD forensic medicine. The basic qualification they are asking for is MBBS and not BAMS. Then what is the purpose of learning forensic medicine? Anyway, BAMS graduates cannot practice forensic medicine after BAMS. They cannot practice forensic, they cannot do postmortem. If they are doing postmortem illegally, that is a different thing. If you ask, I don't think there is a legal possibility for a BAMS doctor to do postmortem or such things, or even involved in any of the procedures related to forensic
Crime
medicine.
investigation.
Crime investigation. Any part. So the thing is that Ayurveda doctors' objectives are entirely different from modern medicine. So we should be focusing on our own objective, and this forensic medicine part is to be avoided, abandoned from the curriculum of Agata Dandra and Ayurveda. Why? Because it is no way connected to Ayurveda, and the practical utility of the science, Ayurveda, and hence, and no use for the students also. If it is meant for career also, there is no use for that. So I think I am having the same opinion as Rajkumar sir. It is to be abandoned from, it is to be avoided from the syllabus of Agata Dandra, and along with that, whatever is necessary, crucially necessary in the curriculum of Agata Dandra, it has to be from the Ayurvedic perspective. It has to be included with emphasis in theory as well as clinical side. That's it.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. So my next question is, in practicals, we are taken to post-mortems, but even after doing BAMS and after that MD, from Agad we are forbidden to do post-mortems. So isn't it like giving indirect permission for doing quackery and defaming Ayurveda?
I think so, Vrishali, because I don't think there is a legal permit for Ayurveda doctors to do postmortem. If anybody is doing it, it is at their own risk and consequences. They are doing that. So why to adulterate a pure science? That is what I'm asking. Why to adulterate this much brilliant science of Ayurveda for superficial reasons? Like we have, this is not what is called updation. Updation doesn't mean that we have to do everything what allopaths are doing. That is not updation. Updation means what? We have to update the application, scientific application of our system in accordance to the conventional requirements. Every period, conventional healthcare requirements change. For example, after introducing COVID vaccine, we find that there are so many diseases, autoimmune diseases, allergic diseases, inflammatory, so many kinds of diseases. Post-COVID, things are increasing. So our conventional requirement post-COVID can be variable, slightly variable from pre-COVID period. We are getting more patients on so and so aspects. So according to the change of scenario, the practitioners and students must be equipped with essential knowledge and skills of their own science. Their own science, diagnostic principles, they should be more accurate. They should be clear in what they are diagnosing. They should be clear in differential diagnosis. In Ayurveda, they should be clear about the prognostic standards. They should be clear in precise application, because Ayurveda is a precision science. Ayurveda is a precision science. So we should be knowing precise Jnana Purva Karma, what Sangeeta told just now. Ayurveda evidence-based practices, Jnana Purva Karma, science-based medicine. That is what evidence-based practice should be, oriented on science-based medicine. That is why SBVA, science-based, evidence-based Ayurveda emerged. So my point is very simple. There is no need to do postmortem by Ayurveda doctors. Ayurveda curriculum and training should be in such a way that Ayurveda doctors are equipped in the fine aspects of scientific and clinical part of Agada Tandra itself, and other things are to be omitted. This is my point.
Thank you, ma'am.
Postmortem and forensic medicine are not part of Ayurvedic science. So whatever are being done in the name of forensic medicine and postmortem by BAMS graduates is unfair.
Only one thing I would like to add is that it is okay to know the criminal procedures. What all criminal procedures are taken after, suppose murder, you are suspecting when a person is brought to your clinic, a person can be brought to your Ayurveda doctor's clinic also. Sometimes we have to certify that the person is dead. So it is very much important that the legal aspects we are to be aware of. And that can be made as a very, what you call, this much vast details of this post-mortem and all are not required to be done, and especially practical side is not required. Legal aspects of such basic legal, fundamental legal aspects awareness can be given as a very short part of the curriculum. Theoretical knowledge, I mean, that will be more than sufficient in this aspect.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Sir and ma'am, as you both told that a practical thing like Agat has to be taught in a practically way in OPDs, but we do not have any clinical OPD for Agat Tantra. Also, we do not have any why there is like no toxicity of Ayurveda medicine, and side effects are explained either in Agad or Dravya Guna. So, what is your point on this?
It's a very relevant question actually. Actually, nowadays the world is discussing about toxicity of Ayurveda medicines. Herbal medicines they consider as Ayurveda medicines. There are so much of confusions, so much of what you call ignorance prevailing in the global, I'm telling global scenario, not Indian society alone, global scenario. That's why our medications are not getting legally accepted. Our treatments are not getting legally accepted all over the world. The main problem is that they are suspicious of the authenticity and toxicity standards, quality control parameters. They are not allowing. So first of all, to approve any medical formulation of Ayurveda or any herbal or mineral formulation of Ayurveda all over the world, first thing what is to be approved, in my opinion, first thing what is to be approved is science. Medicine cannot be approved before science because Ayurveda is science-based medicine. In the case of modern medicine, it is an unknown compound. It is an unknown compound. They begin administration. They begin research with an unknown compound. But that is not the situation in Ayurveda. In Ayurveda, there are known compounds. Known compounds in the sense known formulations means they are scientifically explored for how, why mechanisms. How, what, when, where, why. Everything is documented in the science. So we should be knowing the guidelines and principles regarding their administration. That is what is explained by science. So the authenticity of the application is justified by the science, background science. So always medicine gets approval through science only. It cannot be like medicine approved means medical science will get approved. That is a very illogical belief prevailing in the society today. When a medicine gets approval by benefit and risk, the medical science gets approved as proven. It is not correct. In the case of Ayurveda, it is 0% correct. Why? Because Ayurveda approval of every treatment and medicine begins with the rational application of the science, background science. This is very important. So it is essential that every BAMS curriculum should be teaching rational medicine, principles of rational medicine. That should be a mandatory part of every, the basic principles of rational medicine should be starting in basic principles in first year. Basic principles of logical prescribing. That should begin in first year of BAMS in the in the subject of basic principles. Followingly, every aspect of rational prescribing should be taught in Dravya Guna, Rasa Shastra, Bhaishajya Kalpana, Roga Nidana, Swastha Vritta, Prasudi Tantra, what not. Every discipline must teach the discipline-oriented principles of practice of rational prescribing. For that, there should be rational standards. First of all, publishing. That is what SPBA did. So it is very important that Agada Tantra should also include principles of rational prescribing. Because how side effects are emerging in Ayurveda? Ayurveda side effects are emerging by Ashuddha Prayoga. Is it not? Ashuddha Prayoga. What is Ashuddha Prayoga? It is irrational application. Samyak Prayogam Sarvesham Siddhir Apnodi Karmanam. So any medicine which is wrongly chosen, wrongly applied, wrong patient, wrong status, wrong period of administration, anything wrong medicine, wrong principle. So it can be Kala, Karma, Virya, Upaya, Adhikarana. All these are major determinants of action of medicine in the body. You are studying, now Sangeeta told it very well. Yat Kurvanti, Tat Karmam, all these aspects are pharmacokinetic components of decision making of pharmacokinetics in Ayurveda. These are to be taught very systematically. And how side effects are developing. It is not side effects. Side effects means there is a difference between side effects and undesirable effects. Side effects means the effects, bad effects, which are observed on the side of good effects. Okay. Whenever benefits, when you are focusing to produce benefits, definitely there will be risk. That is what modern medicine is telling. Modern medicine is telling for every benefit, there should be a risk. And that is how they conclude that side effect means medicine is working. That is what their conclusion is. But it is very illogical. Just take the example of a door opening with a key. You are trying to open the door with many keys, one after another. Sometimes lock can get damaged, door can get damaged, sometimes your hands can get damaged. Anything can happen. Anyway, damage possibility is there. But if you know the right key, the details of the right key, when you are applying the right key, immediately there is only one effect. There is no benefit risk. The intended effect is opening of the door. So in the same way, Jnana Purva Karma, science-based medicine is enlightening us with precision principles of application of medicine. How you have to diagnose is explained by Roganidhana principles, Nidana Panchaga, all these aspects of Roganidhana. And how to choose medicine, it is mentioned in Dravya Guna Vijnana, Vaishajya Kalpana, all these aspects. I mean, all these disciplines. So, unless and until logical prescribing or rational prescribing principles are taught, we cannot avoid undesirable effects. That is my point. So these things are to be taught to students. What is side effect? What is toxic effect? Toxic effect can happen by toxic medicines, impurities, adulteration, all this unscientific handling of medicine, absence of quality control, absence of rational prescribing. So all these aspects, it is compulsory that such a path should be there in Agada Tantra also. And it should be educated theoretically and practically. That's all.
Thank you, ma'am. My next question is, even after doing MD from Agad, we have no rights. We still have to refer the poisonous cases to modern hospitals. And if we are confident also, we follow treatment according to modern protocols only. Then what is the need of Agad as our subject in BAMS course?
If practicals are not there, then it's not serving the purpose. Purpose of Agada Tantra as one of the Ashtangas, when we are learning, we need to know Hetu Lingya Aushadha Skandhas. So if we are not learning lakshanas or clinical aspects and how to manage those conditions practically, then theoretical knowledge is of no use. That we have discussed before also. And Agada Tantra is needed, very much needed, but not in this way. This herbal toxicity also can be learned. The previous question she was asking. Oshadhyo Amrita Kalpaha. Oshadhis are always Amrit-like. It's like Amrit. But if it is not properly used, Duryukta, Vishopama, it becomes Visha-like. So how proper application is done, that is more important. Not like you are learning so many Visha drugs. If Visha also, if Yukti Uktam, it will be like Amrita, Amrit. So that's also mentioned. So how to use Visha as medicine, or medicine, how medicine can become toxic, both these can be taught. If used in combination, what will happen? So there is blind combinations are being administered. That can also produce toxicity. When it is administered along with modern drugs, how toxicity develops, that also needs to be taught, because we are living in a world where allopathic medicines are consumed by all the patients, irrespective of whether they are coming to Ayurvedic OPD or some other place. They will be consuming one or other. At some point of time, they will be consuming Western drugs. So, how it's going to interact with Ayurvedic medicines which we prescribe, and how Ayurvedic medicine becomes a medicine. If it is producing toxins, then it cannot be considered as an Aushadhi. So, it is mentioned in Susruta like Shastra Ashani Vishopama. It is like Shastra or Ashani, lightning or Vishopama. It will kill the patient. Bhavanti Ajnai Rupahrida. If ignorant means not layman, ignorant physicians, when they apply it improperly, it can result in Vishopama. Or like Shastra or Ashani, it can kill the patient immediately. So such things are also to be taught in Agada Tantra. Agada Tantra subject is needed, but with practical aspects or clinical aspects and exact remedial measures should be taught by experts. That's
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, as you told that we should know about the legal aspects. So, in practicals, we are taken to courts, and we do study about IPC and everything, but not that much in details. So, what is the purpose of taking to court, and what is the scope of that?
Actually, I don't think there is a necessity to take the students to the court. I don't think there is a necessity for that. Students should be knowing all the IPC related to medical profession, and even in my opinion, all these legal aspects, IPCs and all, it has to be educated in the school curriculum itself, from the high school itself. Because nowadays we are living in such an evil world where anybody can have anything, for staying honest, just especially true people are facing so many different challenges, legal challenges in their life. So, in my opinion, different kinds of attack can happen to any citizen of India anytime. So, we should be having, it is a fundamental requirement for every citizen of India to get the basic knowledge of legal aspects from school itself. This is my opinion. Just like that, from as an extension from school knowledge, there is nothing wrong. Medical related legal aspects, theoretical part, a very small paragraph of topics, just for knowledge purpose, and maybe it might help to a certain extent in practice when you are becoming a practitioner. But beyond that, I don't think there is a need to take the students to the court, make them sit there. See, the problem is that the precious time is getting wasted. They have such a lot to learn in Agadandra clinics, and during that time, what is the point of making them stay in the court? They are not to become advocates, they are to become doctors. So it is very much needed that they have to be taught the clinical aspects in OPDs.
yeah, same opinion. This is not part of Ayurveda. This is general knowledge which a physician should have. That medical legal aspects they should know. So to know that they need not go to court to investigate crime, they need not go to police station or IB. So all these are wastage of time, as well as we are getting diverted from the actual focus of the science. So science is totally distorted and diverted. It's of no use.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. My next question is, if Agat takes you to forensic, Swasthpur takes you to WHO, Padarth Vigyan to spiritual healing, Dravya Gun to herb identifier, then is this BMS course a pathway or a bridge to all other courses?
Exactly. I agree on your point, and I appreciate you for emerging this point before the world, especially Ayurveda policymakers. Being a representative of junior doctors, you are exposing a very bitter reality before the policymakers and the entire fraternity of Ayurveda. What you address now, is this what Ayurveda is meant to be, a bridge course for doing several other things? A very relevant question indeed. And I agree on your point completely.
It's not. It's far deviated also, just as I told just before. For Swasthavirta, you are taken to dairy visit is there, sewage visit is there, how chlorinated water is made. So, epidemiological studies, which are no way related to Ayurvedic science. So, when you are being taught like this, you will lose confidence. You will be totally diffident. You will not be knowing anything related to that. So, such diffident doctors will be made if you are making postings like this. This practical aspects of Agada Tantra should be in Agada itself. It should not be something else. It should not be in forensic medicine or postmortem. Or Swasthavirta, it should be included in other subjects, and its practicals should be based on that only. Physiology practicals should be in physiology itself. It's related to Sharira itself or in subjects itself. It should not be somewhere else. We are not learning Dravya's external aspects, like how milk is produced, how it is pasteurized, how it is chlorinated water is produced. It's not our concern. Being doctors, we are to deal with subjects. We are to deal with patients. So clinically, what all are relevant, that much only we need to learn. And its remedial measures or how to maintain health. That's what we need to learn. So this is far deviation from science.
Today we are lacking Ayurveda experts. After BAMS, we are not getting scientific Ayurveda experts. We are getting yoga experts. We are getting nutritional medicine, cosmetology, marma. All these experts are emerging, except Ayurveda. The people who can, during COVID crisis, we have seen how many Ayurveda doctors were ready to come forward, telling that there is scientific strategies in Ayurveda to fight, prevent, and win infections. How many Ayurveda doctors were confident enough to approach Honorable Prime Minister by their proposals, and they were ready to prove this aspect that we can manage if we are given patience. So this diffidence is emerging only because of this Kriya Sankara in education, aimless Kriya Sankara in education.
So true, ma'am, and sir. Actually, what all the points you have been told that there should be an clinical OPDs which is not there. Recently, it is not there. Clinical OPD is not there. We are devoid of all the practical aspects of Agar Tantra, which is a very vast subject. So, in order to conclude that, what will be your point on significance of Agar Tantra subject in our curriculum and how it should be taught?
Actually, the subject that is what we were discussing on, right, Sangeeta? We were discussing on that only. Yeah, clinical aspect has to be highlighted by OPD and clinical training. Yeah, yes.
Along with Agada, this is Agandu Visha. So along with that, we can have emergency management also. Along with that, and it can be included that Ayurvedic herbs, how it becomes toxic, or how to understand toxicity, how to understand whether this medicine will be properly acting or not. What you have told initially, Samyak Prayogam, that is how Arogya develops. So how to identify Arogya is by Samyak Prayoga only. If you are applying in the right status of the patient, understanding the state and stage of the disease, understanding the nature of the aushadha, in which dose, in which form, in which mode, and how many times, how much frequency, how it is to be applied. So Samyak Prayoga makes the difference. So Samyak Prayoga is to be taught. So that Samyak Prayoga in clinical aspects have to be taught in Agata Tantra, along with emergency medicine also, if that could be developed. In SBEBA, we are doing so many emergency things, but we don't have a hospital setup and we can't do like that. So that should be developed and it should be implemented along with, it can be implemented along with, because all these are Ashukari conditions. Along with Agata Visha, emergency conditions also can be taught in Agata Tantra itself.
Especially like Dushi Vishaja, this bronchial asthma, we are managing in OPD itself. Like allergic asthma, allergic patient will be in a very high form of distress. We can show the students in OPD, teaching OPD by giving SBBA principles are there to manage such conditions, acute asthma, exacerbation of asthma. So we can show the students this is how medicine is working. Within minutes, patient is improving in front of students. We are doing that, right? So students can understand how fast Ayurveda is. We are changing the entire perspective of science in front of students. Students will not tell that there is no use of learning Ayurveda. They will develop great enthusiasm and passion and dedication to understand and apply this science. So it is possible all the toxin-induced acute emergencies, like sometimes food poisoning, sometimes intrinsic factors like Dushi Visha, etc. We can show, we can prove in the clinical setting. It doesn't require a hospital also. We can show in OPDs. And if in teaching hospitals, we can admit and show the results very easily. That can be adopted.
Yeah. Other than Agat Tantra, I have a question. In third year, in Charak Uttarad, we study Chikitsa Sthan, Kalp Sthan, Siddhi Sthan. Is this the in there which we taught like teachers tell to by heart all the shlokas? And so, what is the objective of this, or is this a proper way of learning Samhita and becoming physician?
What is the objective of Samhita learning? You have to know the Artha and Shastra Artha, both, right? So when we
Yes.
are learning Uttarartha, Charaka Uttarartha, Chikitsa Sthana, consists of so many slokas. Like if we take Jwara, there are almost 350 slokas. So how will you learn Shastra and Shastrarthas from Jwara? And you are not learning its practical aspects also. The thing is, when you are learning from one Samhita alone, actually Ashtanga Hridaya is the most apt thing which is it's very much student friendly. We can learn easily, we can understand easily, we can apply easily. So most easiest is Ashtanga Hridaya, and some more detail is Ashtanga Sangraha. So instead of that, we are directly learning Uttarartha, that too completely practical. Chikitsa Sthana is completely practical. So when we are learning Chikitsa Sthana, Artha and Shastra Artha, it's not going to help because all the 350 slokas they are not going to learn, and they will be missing so many things. Actually, Jwara Nidana is in detail. It's explained in Susurda Uttara Tantra 39th chapter, Jwara Chikitsa. So in that, Mithya Adi Yuktera Picha Karmanam, Snehadya Karma Prindranam, Vividhad Abhighadacha Rogothanat Prapadada, Sanyavadarne Chaiva Joro Doshe Pravtade. It's a big sloka which explains all the Nidanas, which is not mentioned in any other Samhitas. So when you are learning Jwara Nidana from Jwara chapter from Charaka alone, you will be missing that. Jwara definition itself is given in Susruta Samhita. Sweda Virodha Sandapa Sarvanga Grahana Vikara Yugavad Yasmin Rogesa Jwara Parigirtita. So Jwara is mentioned as defined in Susruta Samhita. So you will be missing that. Ashtanga Sangraha explains the Samprapti very well. Pittam tu Dravatva Taptam Ivanalam Upahatya Sarve Picha Dosha Paktaram Swastanat Bahirnirasya Sahatena Sakalam Api Shaditam Api Sarpantas Sambarta Lapta Belena Svenoshmana Nidram Dehoshmana Methiento Andas Roto Mekapitana Stamba Madatana Bahirapicha Svedam Abharanda Sarva Indriyan Chopata Pendu Jwaram Api Nirvartendi. So this much specific and very much precise explanation is given in Ashtanga Sangraha. So you will be missing that. So when you are learning a Samhita and Udara Chikitsa, it is very well explained in Susruta Samhita, Bahusho Anulomana, which is mentioned in Sarvo Udareshu Bahushastu Anulomana. So that treatment principle is specifically mentioned in Susruta Samhita Chikitsa Sthana. When you are learning a Samhita for Shastra, Shastrartha and Artha, Artha is to be Adasya Pragrata Bhutva, Desha Kala Andrani, Tantra Kartur Abhipraya and Upayamsha Artha Madisya. So how to learn, how to understand is by learning the sloka, how to understand that we have to learn the first year itself. That has to be taught in the first year itself. And Shastrarthas are practical aspects. That is not taught. So when you are making all the 350 slokas or Rasayana, Vajikarana chapters, they are having so many slokas and which are not student friendly also. So Charaka Samhita, as it is, if you want to learn, that should be learned in particular respective subjects PG. When they are learning, respective slokas from Charaka Samhita can be learned in that specific manner. But Charaka Samhita for a BAMS student or third year BAMS student, it's not friendly at all and it's not practical also, because Artha and Shastra Artha is impossible to learn all the slokas. All the chapters will be having more than 200 or 300 slokas. So we need to learn only treatment principles. So if we are to teach treatment principles, why to teach Charaka Samhita? You can adopt it from Susruta Samhita or Ashtanga Sangraha in along with Gaya Chikitsa in practicals, right? So that Charaka Samhita in Uttarartha, especially Uttarartha in third year subject is not feasible, or it's not uh, uh, congenial to a BMS student, third year BMS student. So it should be in PG level only. Such learning, it should be a reference book. Charaka should be a reference book for PG students. It's not fair to teach BMS students the whole Charaka Samhita Uttarartha.
I have a slight difference in the opinion that whenever any Samhita oriented learning is happening in BAMS, it should be topic oriented rather than Samhita oriented. So when a topic, Ojas, for example, Ojas is taught in Kriya Sharira, everything regarding fundamental aspects of Ojas is to be educated from Charaka, Susruta and Ashtanga, Sangraha and Hridaya. Everything regarding Ojas is to be taught. Coming to the pathological states of Ojas, Roga Nidana, there is no need of Charaka Samhita there. Roga Nidana, Ojas is there. You are learning from Charaka Samhita, Ashtanga Sangraha, every aspect of Ojo Vyabhat, Ojo Visramsa. Susruta has explained Ojo Visramsa. So you will be learning Ojo Visramsa of Susruta. So it is not that one Samhita is to be completely like all slokas not required, more or less same only. But my opinion, there is no need of Samhita learning. Every subject should be based on Samhita learning and application. Suppose Dravya Guna, Rasa Guna Karmas, Rasa, the Yoga Lakshanas. Basic Rasa Guna Karmas, easy to learn is Ashtanga Hridaya, no doubt. But Ashtanga Sangraha explains so many other things, additional things. Adiyoga Lakshanas, Ashtanga Sangraha explains extra. So it is not for easy learning that you are to study a professional course. You are learning a professional course by doing such a disciplined learning. Whatever tough things are there, if it is required for clinical practice, no doubt you have to learn it in BAMS itself. You must be learning whatever additional. When I am teaching Rasa, Adiyoga, Vigaras, I am asking them to learn Ashtanga Sangraha. Those who are difficult to learn, they learn Ashtanga Hridaya, but write the additional points from Sangraha. I tell them. Because these, instead of Samhita learning, all the disciplines in every year of Ayurveda must include Samhita oriented. Like for example, inflammation. What is inflammation in Ayurveda? Roga Nidana will be teaching what is inflammation in Ayurveda. So to understand what is inflammation in Ayurveda, definitely all the Samhitas are required. No, every topic, autoimmunity, what is it? Mode of action of Shobhagna Dravyas, Dravya Guna. Definitely all the Samhitas are required. So it is not like Samhita, Charaka is important, Hridaya is important, Susruta. We are learning topics, clinical topics. Every topic is clinical. So we should be learning all Samhitas side by side. Regarding compulsory by hearty, that we can choose. That we can choose based on students' IQ and other things. But in my opinion, there should not be any discrimination based on IQ and all. There should be standards. These things are to be learned means everyone will learn. That is what a medical student is. He differs from a BA student or BSc student because such a lot specific vast learning is required in BAMS. So my opinion is that only.
When it is considered as separate subject, you won't be able to learn also, and afterwards you won't be able to apply also. Like if 350 slokas are there, how many slokas will you learn?
Not even
You won't
a
learn
single one.
anything. You won't learn anything. you will think that we will learn the meanings only, right?
Again,
Right.
that is
Because it's impossible.
correct.
It's not possible by a human being.
Yeah.
Learn all the 350 slokas is not possible of one chapter. There are so many chapters. 30 chapters are there in Chikitsa and Siddhisthana. So learning like this is it's not proper, and it's completely make the students confused. They won't be having the proper knowledge in the third year, which is expected with this Samhita learning.
So this unstructured curriculum is the problem. Why students are feeling aversion to slogas? Because of an unstructured curriculum. They are not to become Panditjis. So inflammation or something like pharmacology, Ayurvedic pharmacology of hypertension, treatment of hypertension, all the students, whatever slogas I teach you, Ayurveda working principle in hypertension, all of you will learn. Whenever you find a hypertensive patient, you will be thinking all these diagnostic principles you are learning from Yoga Nidana, and Vaishajya principles you are learning in Dravya Guna or Vaishajya Kalpana, whatever it is. How interesting it is becoming. Any infective fever, you are learning Charaka or Susruta. You may even forget that Charaka is tough or Susruta is tough, because principles you want to apply in the patient. So application level oriented restructuring of curriculum is required in BAMS. It is very crucial. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Thank you for pointing out the unstructured curriculum in BMS and giving the solution for the same, and explaining the detail about Agat Tantra, how it should be taught, and what the necessity changes has to be made in our curriculum in order to propagate a good physician, Ayurveda physician to society. We are very much thankful to both of you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
We consider
We
it
are
as,
also thankful to you for this initiative also.
yeah, we consider it as our humble duty and responsibility only to address these problems and the solutions. So let us hope that the people who are watching this take it constructively. That it be a starting point.
I guess voice disturbance was there.
Yeah, we will wind up.
Yeah. So we are signing off. We will meet in the next episode. Namaste, ma'am. Namaste, sir.
Namaste, ma'am. Namaste, sir.